Round one.
So we're underway then. This 54-kilogram bantamweight quarterfinal is between two seeded boxers who hail from Kazakhstan and Zambia. The southpaw, wearing red, is Sәкен Bibosынov, former world champion back in 2021, down at flyweight. He also got himself a bronze medal in the edition before that, and an Olympic bronze medalist in 2020. In the recent edition of the 2024, the recent edition of the World Championships, it was Hasanboy Dozmatov, his great rival from Uzbekistan and Central Asian nations, with two of the best boxers in the world at this weight. They met at the quarterfinal, and Hasanboy beat him to progress through to what would be a gold in front of his home crowd. So the man wearing blue is Zambia's number 2 seed. That is Mуенго Муале, 21 years of age, the 2024 All-Africa Games silver medalist. We've spoken of the delayed Olympic Games where Bibosынov earned that bronze. The All-Africa Games were delayed until 2024 in the Ghanaian capital. Were scheduled for completion a year before. Both men going in search of straight punches as they're just fencing with the lead left hand. Excuse me, lead hands, because of course Bibosынov, a southpaw. The referee wanting some engagement from the boxers, and again getting the better of that exchange is Mualé. And now Mualé is stepping on the gas and working effectively. There was a good left hand to the body which may have hurt Bibosынov, because he dropped his hand and he's getting on his bike, targeting that same spot once again with his left hook. Is Mualé, and a bit of a rough patch being endured here by Bibosынov, keeping a poker face, and another backhand, a bolo shot dug in just above the belt line. Terrific work to the body in particular from Mualé, standing flat-footed, and he's found his range more immediately in this bantamweight quarterfinal. And a left hook over the top of the right hand from Mualé is a cracking shot. Bibosынov going in search of his get back, because the previous 40 seconds or so have belonged to Mуенго Муале. It was a body shot for my money that started Bibosыnov's challenges here. He comes back with a spearing left cross of his own, looking for the same shot downstairs once again, but there is a bolo backhand followed by a rapier straight right cross from Mualé. And Mуенgo Муале boxing the final half of the round beautifully. Brought the body shot into play, and that sent Bibosынov on his back foot, and then he was targeted to the body consistently. And I think the man in blue has done the better work in that opening round. There's very little, to the extent that the referee had to intervene, but there's an example of some of the body punching. Beautiful placement from Mуенgo Муале, and he kept the attack going. Keeping his composure under fire is Bibosынov, but for my money, that body work should be rewarded. As you'd expect of a boxer of Bibosınov's quality, he did have his own moments as well.
Out.
In the presence of the IBA president, Mr. Umar Kremlov.
Round
Not
2.
able to bring you the scores from the opening round, but in my estimation, it was the man in blue who did the better work. But we have to wait on the official verdicts of the 5 scoring judges. The second round underway. The battle for the front foot between orthodox and southpaw, so crucial. Looking for the body once again is Mualé, but there's a counter left hand landed upstairs from Bibosынov, and Mualé just backing away. Was he buzzed by that? Tries to bomb his way out of his own blue corner. Good work to the body once again, although the forearms providing an effective line of defense from Mualé. from Bibosынov in the attack of Mualé. Good right hook to the body, but a right hook landed upstairs from Bibosынov on the counter. What I thought was a good body shot has been intimated that it was low, as Mualé turning right hands underneath to both body and head. Bibosынov snaking out that southpaw right jab. Good bolo shot to the body from Bibosынov. Looking for the right cross in response. Here's Mualé. Just long with the right cross, and a pecking southpaw left landed by Bibosынov. Again, the lead legs between orthodox and southpaw getting in a bit of a tangle. Quick trip to the canvas for Mualé, who's looking to dig away with that backhand as the two men continue to fence with the lead hands. Solid right hand landed by Mualé, and then a bolo shot, but he's going to be spoken to about a low blow again. So he's going to have to make an adjustment here, because from my commentary position ringside, oh, that's a cracking right cross on the resumption landed by Mualé. But if he's spoken to again about what are borderline body punches, he could well find himself with a point deducted. And that would put an entirely different complexion on what is a really competitive contest so far. Double right hand, saw the second one get through from Mualé. He's whipping that bolo shot into the body once again. Bibosынov responding. Bibosынov looking to punch out of his counter. There's another right hand slung into the body just above the belt line, as Mualé continuing to invest in body shots. Bibosынov trying to creep onto the front foot, but he's picked off by a raking right cross from Mualé. Bolo left hand not too far away from Bibosынov, and what a right hand just before the bell. Mualé not interested in touching gloves because he feels that he's got the measure of his man. Another very competitive round of boxing. I thought that Mualé did enough to take the first. Bibosынov responding as you would expect a champion of his caliber to do. But I'm intrigued and eager to see the scores here, because these contests, these rounds have been very competitive indeed. The first round, I thought the bodywork of Mualé was clearly enough to give him the frame. Bibosынov responding in the second to make it altogether closer, but an example of those crosses, why I felt that the man in blue is right in this one. Well, we appear to be having an issue with the IBA live scoring here, so not able to bring you the scorecards.
Your third and
well, I
final
find that
round.
staggering. I find that absolutely staggering, because that means that the first round must have been scored in favor of Bibosынov on a 4-1 split. And I am bewildered as to how anybody watching that opening 3 minutes could arrive at that conclusion. The man was hurt to the body, he was scored upon to the body consistently, and yet, if my arithmetic and interpretation of that scorecard is correct, he took the first round on a 4-1 split, and moreover, he took the second round unanimously. And surely that's not what we're watching here before our eyes. But that's how things stand. Mualé will have been made aware of that by his corner team, and so he's going to have a massive final 3 minutes if he digs down to the body effectively once again. So it's not one-way traffic, and you wouldn't expect it to be against an operator of the quality of Bibosынov. But in that first round in particular, I thought he was bested. And yet, for my money, inexplicably, he has been declared as a 4-1 winner of that opening round. And moreover, he's given the second round unanimously as well, which I think is that's really unfortunate from Mualé's perspective. So Mualé has actually reduced his punch output here. He's taking left hand to the body, lands the right cross once again, and it's another trade-off, and it's Bibosынov who just driven backwards a little bit. So looking for the uppercut underneath, Bibosынov out of his shell to try and counter. Beautiful left cross from Bibosынov, and then a right jab, and Bibosынov just beginning to measure the distance now that Mualé has for some reason reduced his punch output. His best successes in this contest, for my money, has been when he's got on the front foot and backed up the man in red, just as he did with that explosive reverse 1-2 on the counter. Remember, the referee spoke to both men about their lack of engagement, and shortly thereafter, this was in the opening round, Mualé got on the front foot, drove Bibosынov backwards, and appeared to visibly hurt the man to the body. And that's when he enjoyed his best passage of the round, for my money enough to give him the round and not to labour the point as he lands another solid right cross. But he lost the first round 4-1 when we eventually saw the scores. Good bolo backhand to the body from Bibosынov. Bibosынov trying to creep his way forwards. Again, I'm not quite sure I understand the tactics here, because I appreciate that the scores were late, but the blue corner must have told Mualé, listen, this is how things stand. There's no room for emotion, as Bibosынov digs in a good left hand to the body. You've got to get after this man and produce a massive final round. And boxing at that pace, he hasn't managed to do that. So I don't think that the man in blue has produced a massive final round that he needed because of the complexion of the scorecards after 6 minutes of boxing. And I just wonder whether that message was communicated by the corner, because if it was, then you would have expected Mouengo Moualé to come out with far greater intensity in the third round than he actually demonstrated. There was more intensity and punch output in his work over the first 2 rounds. And again, because of the scorecards, one thinks, well, it's going to be the man in red who's going through.
Ladies and gentlemen, on ring B, your winner by unanimous decision, in the red corner from Kazakhstan, Sәкен Bibosынov.
So Sәken Bibosынov taking all 3 rounds for all but 1 judge. And the man from Zambia